Ladies and gentlemen, super excited to have this next guest on our show, joining a list of UFC contenders and champions. We are talking about the man they call a lone wolf, UFC Featherweight Michael Trizano. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Do you like to go by Mike more or Michael, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter.
Sounds cool. And did I catch it right with the featherweight division, or are you somewhere else?
Yep, featherweight.
Fantastic. You know, Sherdog, you may have heard of, has a habit of putting the wrong weights for fighters, and I'm wondering if they're either just not staying on top of things enough, or they're trying to mess up other shows using their reference site for reference, because, you know, I think they have you right though, so, but you never know. It's almost hard to trust what they have.
Well, I did, my first couple fights in the UFC, I was at lightweight because I did the Ultimate Fighter at lightweight, but my main weight class is featherweight.
Sounds good. What gym are you fighting out of?
I fight out of Tiger Schulman's MMA.
Excellent. That's back east, and they have so many great fighters there. Is that in New York or New Jersey?
We're in Jersey. It's right in Elmwood Park, New Jersey.
Fantastic. And do you have a fight signed yet, or are you still working on that in the UFC?
Nah, man. In the works. Hoping for October.
Absolutely. And I think you've had a couple UFC fights so far, or just one? No, you've had a few.
I'm 3-1 in the UFC right now.
That's right. I knew that. My mind's been fried, man. It's been one of those days. But I love it, man. So you're looking good, man. And who has been helping you? Who is still over there? A lot of guys stay loyal to Tiger Schulman, and once they're there, they don't leave. I guess occasionally someone leaves, but who's over there that's been helping you, and who's over there that you have respect for and want to shout out on the show?
So my main training partners, I mean, we got a lot of up-and-coming guys, but guys in the UFC, we got Shane Burgos, Julio Arce, Jimmy Rivera, Lyman Good, those, and myself. We're the guys in the UFC right now, but we got a bunch of really good young guys coming up in the regional scene for pros, and a bunch of amateurs as well. So, I mean, we got a super talented room right now, and you know, nobody's in easy training session, so the room's packed, filled with guys ready to go. Absolutely. And we've had your teammate Jimmy Rivera on the show, I think 4 or 5 times over the last several years. He's a great guy, and I should have looked and could have mentioned that, but I'm glad we got you on here anyway. Jimmy is an amazing fighter and great skills, and yeah, you're looking really good too, coming off a couple of wins there, and then Ludovic Klein, that was a good win. Luis Pena, man, apparently he's in some sort of weird trouble now, man. The violent Bob Ross. It's unfortunate, but you had a good fight against him. He's a tough dude, huh? I'm sorry, say that again?
I was going to say, you had a good fight a while back against Luis Pena. He's a tough dude, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's a tough dude. It was a necessary fight because he thought he won the show. He thought he would have won the show if he didn't get hurt, but that wasn't the case.
Right. You proved him wrong there, and now he's in some sort of weird trouble. Let me ask you this, and I know we don't have the perfect sound, but hopefully your driving reception can get a little bit better. But let me ask you this, man. You're a young guy. You're in the career of fighting, and what is it, man, that seems to make it hard for some fighters to avoid having physical confrontations? And I'm not a hater of fighters. I'm a lifelong martial artist, and I know that a very low percentage of fighters get caught up in domestic violence compared to the average guy out there. But it seems like some fighters are getting caught. Do you think it's mostly that some fighters' girlfriends are just trying to like get them in some trouble, and that fighters aren't really to blame? Or do you think something about fighting can make a guy have some trouble in like keeping his shit together as far as domestic violence and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that because we know how to fight, we know how to avoid it.
Right.
And personally, I mean, when I'm training all the time and getting ready for fights, like I barely go out. But if I do, like I'm aware of my surroundings. Like I know when it's time to go. If there's certain things I got to avoid. But I mean, it's fairly easy. Like I train and get punched in the face and like fight people every day, all day. When I go out, I want to have a good time. That's the last thing on my mind is fighting.
It makes sense. Now, you know, I know a lot of guys when you're young can get into beefs with their girlfriends, right? And I would imagine that if a girlfriend wanted to be like really, really low, she could try to start provoking her boyfriend who's a fighter by like smacking him in the face or kicking him or whatever. What do you think? Do you think that is ever happening where a guy's girlfriend is trying to provoke him? And if so, how do you think you would react if your girlfriend just was mad at you and just came over and slapped you in the face?
I mean, that's never happened
Right.
to me. My wife is the best thing to happen to me, so
Nice.
she is the last person to ever do that.
Yeah.
She knows, and she knows that I have a lot to lose,
Right.
and she wants to see me be successful, and she would never put me in that situation.
That's
so.
good. That's good because, yeah.
But in my opinion, if it was me and I had gotten smacked in the face or something in public, like I would handle it the right way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't cause a scene in public. You know, that's just the kind of person I am. So that's how I would do it.
It makes sense. It makes sense because I'm not trying to give fighters excuse for, you know, ever laying their hands on their girlfriends, but there's got to be some situation where a guy's girlfriend just like, you know, wants to like provoke him and
yeah, I mean,
know.
I would never hit a woman. So
Right.
I mean, that's just me. Obviously, you know, you get the black sheep of every once in a while, just things happen. But I mean, that's not how I was raised, and regardless of what the situation is, you know, I obviously could do a lot more damage than the person hitting me. So
Right.
I would never do something like that.
That makes
and honestly, if some girl hit me in the face, I would have to hold my wife back because she would kill somebody.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate that, my friend. So speaking about how you were raised, let's talk about that, man. Let's get a little background of the lone wolf, Michael Trizano. Tell us some of the high points about your, let's say, athletic experience when you were younger, or how soon you were familiar with, you know, MMA fighting, and if you had any people in your family that were involved in any kind of fighting.
Yeah, so I mean, I played sports my whole life. You know, I wasn't like a standout athlete, like I wasn't like the best and all this kind of stuff. I was just middle of the road. I just enjoyed playing all types of sports. I played football the longest, and I really started getting into MMA when I was in high school, like my sophomore, junior year of high school, and I really took to it. I mean, I just loved like the challenge and having to push myself, and I just got hooked. Training full time, and here I am now. I mean, I had a great childhood, raised by two great parents, got a younger brother who we fought a lot, but we love each other. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. No sob story with me.
Very cool, very cool. Were there any fighters that you looked up to or that you were fans of before you got into the sport?
Yeah, GSP was my idol. I looked up to how he carried himself. I loved his style, how he was so well-rounded, and just he was the epitome of a martial artist, and that's who I wanted to aspire to be. I want to be a good role model. I don't want to be just one of those guys just causing scenes and doing all this stuff. Like, I'm not a shit talker. You know, I think that's a skill that you either have or you don't.
Right.
I'm not quick to think on like comebacks and stuff. Like, if I ever got into an argument, I'm the kind of person who, like, I'm showering like 3 hours later and I'm like, oh, I should have said that.
Right. Yep. I can relate. Yeah. I can relate because I was always a good talker, but not a good shit talker. Once in a while, I'd come up against someone really good with the cut downs. And yeah, man, like you said, I'd be showering, whatever. Oh, you hours later saying, damn, man, I should have said such and such. But yeah,
exactly.
no, I like GSP a lot, man. He was a gentleman. He was a true martial artist and fought really, really hard. Not only that, but in the fight that he had against Johnny Hendricks, the one that everyone's all screaming this and that and whatever. That was a damn close fight. And I'll tell you what, I'm not trying to like paint myself to know more than the next guy, but I'm a little bit of an older guy. I've been watching fights and actually keeping score of fights since boxing when I was a kid. And that's like a few decades I've been doing that. And in that fight, man, that was just really close. And I'll tell you what, you want to know something funny? After that fight, when GSP got the decision and Johnny Hendricks came in there complaining and being really negative and not being gracious about it, it kind of seems like he bit off some bad karma, because his career was never the same. It's like before that, everyone was cheering for him. He was like this super chill dude who was positive. He was almost like a GSP type of a guy. And then after that fight, when he's like, no way, I didn't lose, man. Look at his face. Look at this. What the hell? This is bullshit. It's like everything went downhill. It was really weird, man. And it's like they say karma's a bitch sometimes. You know, you got to try to come with the right attitude. And, although he was a great fighter, it is what it is, and that was before USADA days. But yeah, GSP was such a great fighter. If GSP is about 41 now, I think, or close, is it too late, do you think, for him to fight Khabib if they made that matchup because of his age? Or do you think he could still hang and bang with Khabib? And then the second part of that question is, if it was 5 years ago and he was younger, like 35, what if he went up against Khabib?
Right now, I just think it's like a weight discrepancy.
Yeah.
Because GSP is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And the fight, like Khabib would want to fight at 55. I don't think he would want to do it at any other weight. I think he's set on that. For GSP to make 55, he'd definitely have to kill himself.
Right, and at his age now, especially.
And he's 40, and he's older, and it's a lot harder to cut weight when you're older. I mean, I don't think it would ever happen.
Yeah.
They're both financially comfortable. Like, they don't really need to do it for money.
Right.
So it would be purely for the fans.
Right.
But I don't think it'll ever happen.
No.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe.
Right.
I mean, I think it would be a great fight, but I also think that Khabib earlier in his career didn't have that great a stand-up that he did right before he retired. Like, I think he was the best he's ever looked.
Yeah.
And GSP's a little bit more well-rounded, but obviously Khabib, I definitely think, has a better edge on the ground. But again, you never know. I mean, GSP was one of those guys that he just took whoever he was fighting, he did what they were best at better. So
yep,
it'd definitely be interesting.
Without a doubt. It's interesting to see GSP nowadays with hair. He looks really different. They made a statue of him in Canada, and now they're pointing out the statue looks kind of like Barack Obama. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did see the statue. It kind of looks a little strange.
Yeah, it's like they should have him and Barack both there holding their hands up celebrating the statue. You could call it the St. Pierre Obama statue, with all respect, because, obviously Barack having respect as being a two-term president and GSP. But GSP is such a cool dude. Yeah, he's one of my favorite ones was back when he was fighting. They asked him about his diet and if he ever goes out and snacks, and he says, well, I will go to McDonald's once in a while. And I was just, can you picture him walking into a McDonald's, especially into his prime, right? They would have gone crazy, And let me ask you about that. Obviously, if you fought at 55 before, you're fighting at 45, you can't be eating too crazy. But what can a young guy like you, who's in great shape with a good metabolism, if you don't have a fight scheduled, obviously you're not going to go and eat McDonald's meals all day, every day. But if you wanted to just say, if you were really hungry and said, you know what, man, screw it, I'm going to go get, 2 Big Macs, 2 large fries, some big salad, a huge Coke. Can you do that and not really screw you up, or do you ever do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll enjoy myself every once in a while. I'm not going to not live my life, But when I'm in fight camp, it's strict.
Yeah.
To a T. I don't skip a beat. But when I'm not training for a fight, I mean, I still train every single day. So for me to go off my diet doesn't really affect me too much. I've always been super skinny and crazy fast metabolism my whole life, so I've never had that as an issue. But I mean, I grew up as an Italian family, so I love to have a lot of pasta.
Yeah.
That's really my kryptonite.
That's right. Oh, absolutely. That's right. Do you ever have a fight fall on a holiday and like you have your mom or your aunt or people want to make a big Italian dinner, and what have you done? You just can't eat it, right?
It's happened too many times.
I hear you.
I mean, I fought like early in the year where I couldn't enjoy like Christmas and that kind of stuff, and same thing. Like there was a few years in a row where I wasn't able to eat on Thanksgiving. So, I mean, I've done it. You know, it's the sacrifice I got to make and for the career I have, and it is what it is. I have the rest of my life to eat some pasta, so yes. Sacrificing it there is not that big a deal.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. So it shows you being from New Jersey. Is that just where Tiger Schulman is, or are you from Jersey?
No, I was born in New York City and have lived in Jersey like my whole life.
Nice. And where would be your favorite place to fight if you could? Probably Madison Square Garden?
That's definitely like on my list of places I want to fight, but the way the city is right now and how much New York taxes me after I fight, like I don't even want to fight there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Would definitely fight at Prudential Center. So hopefully they go back to the Rock, because I'll definitely fight there. I can get a ton of people there to watch me fight.
Very cool. I actually was in the press section at a fight at Boston Gardens a few years ago. That's a lot smaller than I was thinking. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, what fight? TD Garden in Boston?
TD, that's it. TD Gardens, yeah.
Yeah, no, I went there once to watch McGregor fight Dennis Siever when he was coming up. That was a crazy time because like there's tons of Irish there, so the place was erupting.
Yeah, that's right. It seems, because I remember, it seems like New York has like, does New York still have neighborhoods where you have like Irish neighborhood here, an Italian neighborhood there, and Jewish neighborhood here or something?
Yeah. Well, I feel like all the cities kind of have something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I guess so. Though New York is always the one, like, you know, remember that movie Gangs of New York? How realistic is that anymore?
I mean, not like that.
No, that's cool. Hey, do you have any brothers or cousins that are big fans of yours or that fight themselves?
No one that fights. I'm the only one that really fights in my family. But I mean, I've had some of my family train. My wife trains. She's been training for the last 7 years, just to like work out and stuff. But every time I fight, like I usually have like around 50 people coming, no matter where it is, because nice. they love supporting me and having a good time.
That's awesome.
Like last time I fought in Vegas, not this past one, but for the Ultimate Fighter, I mean, there had to have been over 100 people there for me. Cool. I mean, my cousin spent almost like 30 grand at a pool party. So
nice.
They were going crazy.
That's awesome. Do you have any do you have any brothers or male cousins who think a little bit that even though they're not a professional fighter, since they're blood relatives of yours, they probably could do pretty good or maybe beat you? Yeah,
man. The Trizano family were warriors. I mean, I got one of my cousins is an Army Ranger. I've had a lot of family in the military. We're fighters, man.
Nice. So even though they're not, trained in MMA, there's some tough guys that probably could do pretty good having almost the exact same genetics as you.
Absolutely, man.
Right on. Do you plan on having a family or having any kids, or do you have any now?
Yeah. I mean, eventually. I just got married in July, so see what happens.
Congratulations. And if you had kids, would you be okay with them being fighters, or would you discourage it?
Oh yeah, whatever they want to do, I'd support them 100%. I'm gonna have them train regardless, because I think it's just an important life skill to have in general. But yeah, I mean, if whatever they want to pursue, they're gonna grow up with it. So hopefully I don't burn them out. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if they want to fight, I'm 100% behind them. If they don't,
absolutely makes sense. Either way, whatever they want to do, I respect that. Sorry for stepping on your words.
No, you're good.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to get your opinions, if it's okay, on this coming weekend's fights. But real quick, before I do, Ultimate Fighter that you were on, anything you could share that they didn't show? I'm not asking for you to share something that's going to make someone look bad or something, you know, crazy, nasty, whatever. But anything that's interesting that you could share that happened when you were on, whether it was to you or not, that might be interesting to know, or any experiences that you thought were really good, or friends that you made on the show.
Trying to think. I mean, I would have some pretty intense ping pong matches with Jay Cuccinello. We must have had like 30 or 40 ping pong matches, and like it would get heated.
Nice.
We were very competitive. They were filming it, but I don't think they ever really showed it.
Right.
But it would get pretty intense.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I cooked a lot for the guys in the house, so like I would make, like, some of the guys would ask me to make like lasagna or this or that, and I would cook for them like after they fought. So I would make them a meal or something like that.
Cool.
But other than that, I mean, nothing really that they didn't show that they should have.
Makes sense. Any friends that you made or any enemies that you made?
No enemies, man. I was pretty cool with everybody. I have to say, out of like all the seasons of the Ultimate Fighter, like I think ours had like one of the least bit of drama. You know, there was drama here and there. I mean, it's a bunch of guys in a house for 6 weeks. Tempers are gonna flare, but for the most part, everybody was very professional, and I mean, we all knew we were going to fight each other at some point. Like, what's the point in getting heated and wasting all that energy?
Yep.
So we were all very, very cool with each other.
Very cool. What season was that, and what year was that?
We were season 27, so we filmed in 2018, I believe.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah.
What do you think of it coming back now with Alex Volkanovski against Brian Ortega?
I mean, I think it's a great thing that they brought it back. It's a huge opportunity to get your foot in the door in the UFC, and I think it gets your name out there a little bit more than the Contender, because the Contender is like one and that's it.
Right.
Whereas Ultimate Fighter is like several weeks of your name getting out there. I think it's a little tougher too. I mean, again, Contender, it's one fight. Yeah, they're in or you're not. Whereas the show, like, it's mentally grueling. Like, you're away from your family, friends, everybody. You have no phone, no connection to the outside world for 6 weeks. Like, it's tough. It's tough. And not everybody can do it. So I think it's a huge opportunity, and I'm glad they brought it back.
Yeah, me too, without a doubt. That should be a really good fight. Any predictions in advance of that fight, Volkanovski against Ortega?
I think Volkanovski wins. I mean, Ortega definitely could finish the fight at any point. I just think Volkanovski's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a finish. I think it just goes to unanimous decision.
Yeah, I think so too. Let me get your opinion on this weekend's fights. First of all, let me ask you: are you a guy that watches all the UFC cards you can from start to finish? Do you not care about that and hardly watch any of them? Do you tend to watch only the main cards? What kind of a UFC MMA fan are you?
I mean, I'm a fan of it, but if like the Yankees are playing and UFC's on, I'll watch the Yankees.
Right, makes sense. Your home team.
Same thing with like football. Like, I'm a big baseball and football fan, so if that's on, I'll watch that over UFC. But I mean, I try and catch every card. Sometimes I'm not able to. Like, I don't stress about it. I'm not like arranging my life around it.
Right.
So
that makes sense. Let me ask you about some fighters. If you're not familiar with them, let me know and we'll move on. All right. So Brian Kelleher against Domingo Pilarte. Any familiarity with them? Any prediction?
I don't know Kelleher's opponent, but Kelleher's from my area, so I'm familiar with Kelleher. He's fought some of my teammates before. I mean, I think Kelleher wins just because I don't know who the other guy is.
Understood. No, I like Brian Kelleher too. I think he wins as well. He's a slight favorite. How about Austin Hubbard and Vince Pichel, the guy whose name is spelled V-I-N-C? Looks like Vink.
Yeah, I think Vince Pichel wins. Guy's got dynamite in his hands. I think he can finish the fight.
Yeah, I think so too. I've had him on. He's a unique dude, man. He dropped more F-bombs on this show than any other fighter, and we've been on 4.5 years. But it was all in fun. He was just a funny, like, real dude. And then he was like pointing out different guys that he hates. And I finally said, "You're not trying to say you really hate these people, well, not hate then, so I was trying to help him out, but he's a cool dude, man. He's real. All right. How about Alexander Pantoja and Brandon Royval?
I think Royval wins. I trained with him out in Colorado when I fought out there, and cool dude. He definitely has an unorthodox style and a crazy pace. So I think he wins that one. I think he finishes him.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about it. We've had Brandon on the show here. He's coming off that fight against Brandon Moreno where he lost because of injury. Moreno, now we know, is the best in the world at flyweight, and I think Brandon's going to come back and make a statement against Pantoja, although Pantoja's a tough guy. Let me see. We got you for about 3 more minutes, so let me get real, like 30-second or less answers on this one. The big men, Chase Sherman and Parker Porter. You know those guys?
Familiar with Sherman. Not too familiar with Porter. I'll have to go with Sherman.
Gotcha. I think so too. We've had Chase on the show. He's a big, tough dude. Parker is kind of a shorter heavyweight who's kind of chubby, but he's got some skills. He's kind of unpredictable. But yeah, he's like 36 years old. Not that that means you're done, but I think Chase is taller by 4 inches, more athletic guy, 5 years younger. So I think him. Here's one that we were just talking about. Maybe if you want to give me 30 or 45 seconds on this. Clay Guida, 39 years old. He was down at featherweight for many years. He's back up at lightweight now. He's a small lightweight. He's all respect to him. He's an old lightweight with a lot of miles on him. They're putting him up against the gold medalist in Greco-Roman from Denmark, Mark O. Madsen, the Olympian, they call him. And they have Madsen as like barely a favorite, like 1.5 to 1. To me, I don't see Chase Sherman. I don't see Clay Guida having any chance here. I think this is like a setup fight for Mark Madsen to win 30-27 on all judges' cards. I don't know. What do you see? Am I wrong, do you think?
I mean, even though Guida's got miles on him, I still think he's durable as hell, and he's going to bring the fight. So, yeah, maybe they're kind of setting this guy up, Madsen, to win, but you can never count Guida out. Yeah. That dude always brings a crazy pace. So let's see if Madsen can keep the pace with him. Can he win? Yes, absolutely. Does he have better wrestling? Probably. Yeah. But again, this is a big opportunity for Madsen, and this is also an opportunity for Guida to say, look, I ain't done yet.
Yeah, without a doubt, and big respect for Guida. He's at 39. He's in better shape than most guys, 29, and probably a lot of guys 19, so.
Yeah, I mean, I got Guida in this one. I like him. I love watching him fight. Yeah. And I love the energy.
Yeah. He's amazing, the Carpenter from Chicago. He's also another Italian guy like yourself, probably. So I don't know if that has any factor to it, but I hope he does well. Mark, though, is a very nice guy from Denmark. Denmark have a lot of cool people, and I think he should win. But we'll see. Clay, I hope he does well. Main event, man, this is interesting. Kelvin Gastelum, a slight dog to Jared Cannonier. Both of them coming off losses to Robert Whittaker, who's looking like he's just getting better all the time. It was 10 months ago that Whittaker just, seemed to just confuse Cannonier and pick him apart and hurt him several times and win a decision. And then it was only 4 months ago that he just looked way faster and way crisper and bigger than Kelvin Gastelum and pieced him up to a decision win. But with them going against each other, what do you think? Cannonier is a slight favorite, about 1.5 to 1, minus 160, minus 150 against Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, I got Gastelum in this one. I just think he's going to put more together. Mm-hmm. Not counting Cannonier out. I mean, Cannonier's very strong. He could put the lights out at any time, but I think that Gastelum's going to show a little bit more experience in this one, and I think he takes it. Gotcha.
And do you think the fact that Gastelum fought 4 months ago last and Cannonier 10 months ago favors one or the other? Because I was thinking that would maybe more favor Cannonier, because Gastelum technically could be still kind of feeling some soreness from 4 months ago, or is 4 months plenty of time to be completely healed from even being pieced up like he was?
Nah, I think he had time to heal. I don't think the time span really is going to affect anybody. I mean, if they're real martial artists, they never stopped training. Maybe took a few weeks off to heal and recover, and then they were right back at it. So
right.
think that's going to really play in this matchup.
Makes sense. Plus, I think most fighters would like to fight 3 times a year, so that would mean they'd have to kind of be ready every 4 months, wouldn't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense. Okay. Really appreciate it, man. Hey, let us know the best place to follow you and support you on social media.
Yeah, hell yeah. Follow me on at the Lone Wolf MMA, Instagram and Twitter, and Mike the Lone Wolf Trizano on Facebook, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, Mike Lone Wolf Trizano, I appreciate you. You're a good East Coast guy. I'm from Michigan. We're kind of in between East and Midwest, so, you know, a little bit more East. So I always appreciate my brothers in the East Coast. You're an honest guy. You're a classy guy with respect, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on and talk to us here in the MMA Power Hour. Let us know when you got a fight sign, man. We'll be happy to have you come back on and promote it.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. Thanks again.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.